Mahalo to Key Moments Video Memoirs for sponsoring this show. Key Moments Video Memoirs, creating personal documentaries for the significant events in your life or to tell your life story. Welcome to Life on Maui. My name is Stephen Freid. My guest for today is Netra Halperin, and she is running for the county council, and she'll be my very first political guest. So up until now, I've been a political virgin on the show. So she's my foray into politics. So be gentle, Netra. I want to let everyone know that you can vote for Netra anywhere in Maui County. And so here we go. Welcome to the show, Netra.
Well, thank you, Steve. I am very honored to be invited onto your show, and thank you so much.
My pleasure. What is politics for you?
For me, it always starts on the inside. It always starts at the core, and then it goes out and out and out. So first, there's my inner connection, and then that goes to people closest to me, my family, my friends, my community, and then the larger community of Maui. So it's a way for me to use what I know inside, my connection, to help change the laws, the ordinances, the practices of the government so that it serves the people more. Because the laws and the ordinances are ultimately there to serve us. So if we as a community change, if times change, then we need to change things to actually fit what we need. And so that's what my goal is in going into politics.
You have a master's in psychology.
That's right.
What drew you to psychology, and how do you feel that helps you with politics? 2 questions.
Well, it started out, I did my undergraduate degree in political science. And the reason I did that is because I looked around, I saw a lot of injustice, I saw a lot of suffering. And I thought, okay, well, I'll learn all about politics and I'll learn how to change that. And then I realized people don't base their politics on ideas. People base their politics on their feelings, their experiences, their life. And so then that's why I went and got my master's degree in psychology, because I realized that I could have the most amazing, sterling argument, totally flawless, but if it didn't fit with someone's experience, it was irrelevant. So that's why I studied psychology, and then I practiced psychotherapy, and I moved to Maui. I've been living here for 20 years. And I've worked at Maui Youth and Family Services, Aloha House, Women Helping Women. I've also been a substitute teacher for 2 years. So first it was Maui Youth and Family Services, and I did the therapist in the family program. And that was when a family was at risk of losing one of their children to foster care. And so the state decided that it was more cost-effective and more humane to send a therapist in there 20 hours a week if need be to help turn things around for the family so that they could keep the child in the home and keep the family together.
One thing you said when we were talking earlier is that when you have dealt with a client, that you get bored when you don't feel like they're talking about what's really important to them. So I'm going to mention something that's really important to you. This is from your card. Local, small, and home-based businesses make Maui more sustainable. I will work to change zoning laws so that they help instead of harm our residents and our economy. What's happening in Paia and all the businesses closing, and I know you must feel passionate about that.
Right, and my district, I live in Kahului, and that's my district, and I'm also interested in the whole island, because ultimately, as council, we represent all the people, because all the people vote us in. So I've been noticing that in Paia, because of the administration's decision for the vacation rental, instead of making a new ordinance that was actually possible to receive, because right now people have had to get a conditional use permit, which basically takes years and years and thousands of dollars, and only 20 people in the entire county of Maui have been able to achieve this. They have been working on a new ordinance, and so instead of waiting to have that ordinance, giving people some time to apply for it, and then enforcing against those who didn't, they decided to shut those businesses down. And what's happened is a lot of people have lost their homes, a lot of people have lost their jobs, and then because there's less tourists coming into the whole North Shore, those tourists don't go into all the shops in Paia town. So it has wide-ranging effects. And economics, as most things, we are all connected. This isn't, metaphysical. It's just a fact that one business affects another. And the vacation rental was actually a feeder industry for the other small businesses. And right now, the issue in Maui, or actually in the world, is the economy. It's in the United States. And also in Maui, it's sustainability, because we're realizing that we're a small island in the middle of the Pacific, and we can't always rely on planes and boats coming from the mainland. Mostly they do, but you just don't know. So we want to become more sustainable, and I think it's important to diversify. So within the tourism industry, which right now is a major industry, and it doesn't need to be the only industry, and we definitely need to bring in other industries, but right now in that industry, it's more sustainable to diversify. Just like a stock portfolio. You don't just have all your stock in one company, you have it mixed around. And so same thing with the economy. And also it gives families control of their own lives. Then a family could stay home with the children, with the keikis, with the kapuna. They can work with their family and help their guests. So it keeps families together more. It keeps the money in the neighborhoods. It's, as long as it's not bothering the neighbors, then there is really not an issue. So I think that is one thing that would really help the economy, and it would help families.
We went to a movie last night at Maui Mall, and noticed that a lot of the stores in Maui Mall are closed as well.
Yeah.
What do you think that's about?
Well, that's the overall economy also.
That's the overall
That's
economy.
the overall economy also. I mean, the rural areas, the shutdown started earlier, and they're harder hit because they've got the double whammy of the shutting the vacation rentals and the economy. So then they're like 40% down, and that, most small businesses, those are owned by families. Actually, I've heard most of the businesses in Makawao and Paia are owned by women. So it's really, that's who's getting hit the most by this. So in Maui Mall, that's also the overall economy. And so certain things that the county's actions are responsible for, and certain things are a bigger picture. But the most logical thing for me is that one always does what one can, and then the things that are out of one's control, then you just can't do. But small business in general, all types of small businesses and home businesses that are non-impactful. And now that we have the internet, many businesses can have very little impact, either one employee or two employees, a couple of customers a day. I think that's totally appropriate. If it's a constant stream and tons of employees, that's different. But most businesses are very small and don't need that many customers or employees.
Well, one of the things that you've done in your life is you're a businesswoman.
Yes.
And so this bed and breakfast thing is close to home for you personally.
Yes, I mean, I have bought property and I've renovated it, so I'm very familiar with real estate. I'm very well aware of zoning. And yes, I'm very aware of how home businesses affect one, and that, I would like to have people have the opportunity to have their own home businesses. That's really important to me.
What are your thoughts about the fact that 10% of the food on Maui is grown here, 90% is imported? what are your thoughts about that? I mean, there's a lot of talk about sustainability, both in energy and in food. It's such a time right now that we need to be looking at that. What are your thoughts, feelings, ideas about that?